Hi everybody, I'm Scott Bino, Vice President of Marketing for North America here at Crawford & Company. And today on Crawford Chat, I'm very happy to welcome Nidhi Verma. Nidhi, you are the Chief People and ESG Officer here at Crawford. Thanks so much for joining me today.
Well, thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure.
Well, listen, I hope you say that after. It was still a pleasure, but we'll ask you again at the end. But before we go into any of these questions, Nidhi, what is your job? What do you do as the Chief People and ESG Officer?
Great question, Scott. So first of all, I've been with Crawford for 10 years now, 11 years in March, and I'm very, very proud and excited about my journey here. And as the Chief People and ESG Officer, I guide and inspire my team to deliver HR solutions so that people can bring their best versions of themselves for the collective success of the company. We have a federated HR model, so we have geography HR leaders across all the different offices at Crawford, within Crawford. And we follow a global approach where we have global initiatives that are balanced and run concurrently with local imperatives and local needs. We also have centers of excellence. These are specialty areas in services like people technology or talent and compensation and so forth. So from my perspective, I see it at three levels. At the organization level, it's about strategy, governance, alignment. At the functional level, it's about functional excellence and transformation. And at the employee level, it's attracting and retaining our best top talent and fostering a culture that gives extraordinary employee experience.
Excellent. So is there anything else you do, or is that it? I'm joking. That's a lot of stuff. That's a lot of stuff, and that's a very impressive portfolio of things to look after and manage.
Appreciate that.
So I want to pick your brain a little bit about you, right? So what inspired you to pursue a career in people and culture, and how has that passion maybe evolved over your time of your career or your time here at Crawford?
So very unlike some of the HR professionals who would tell you that I fell into HR by accident or it was an afterthought, I think for me it was more conscious. So back in college I was an econ major and I knew that I would want to explore a career in business, but I wasn't sure about what area of business. So like anybody in college, you start to look for some inspiration from folks in your orbit, and like many folks in at that age, my dad was one of the influencers. He was a senior executive at a large bank, and he would always tell me that business don't grow by themselves. It's we invest in people, and people grow business. And so that resonated a lot with me, that if we have to win in the marketplace, we have to first win the hearts and minds of our people. And that prompted me to go to graduate school and get a degree in human resources. And since then, it's just been a journey. And as I have grown professionally in my career, I have also grown, the passion for HR has grown exponentially. And I think the growth hack really is the diversity and versatility of experiences that I have drawn over the years. So it's experiences in different domains within HR, so compensation and leadership development and the traditional HR function and talent acquisition and so forth, working in different geographies, and also working in consulting, which was the first half of my career, and then moving into kind of an internal practitioner role. And as you know, each experience provides a unique perspective and grows us professionally. So over the years, as HR has evolved, as I have grown, as employee issues have become more and more interesting, it really gets me energized and excited to wake up in the morning and come here and leave an impact for the company and for the employees.
So let's talk more about that too. So you said a couple things that I thought was interesting, right? So we talked about kind of the evolution of HR, and you talked a lot about people, right? So how have you seen HR evolve from like the tactical HR, right? Like the hiring, the firing, the benefits, that kind of stuff. How has the functional tactical part of HR evolved into more of this idea of shaping and promoting positive work cultures? How have you seen that shape out?
Yeah, and I think lots of things. Great question, by the way, that one. And the way, I just want to set a context in terms of how the field of HR has evolved, especially in the last few years. If you look at HR, there has been, numerous trends. For example, we've had employee expectations have changed. We have there's a whole lot of discussion around remote working and return to office and so forth. We've had multi-generations at work. We have gig workers with non-traditional work arrangements, a huge focus on employee well-being and safety. So all of these new trends and the new normal that's coming up, but at the same time, we have some old normals which continue to be new normal. So for example, talent scarcity and war for talent continues to be as intense as ever. Every organization in every industry is competing for the best and the brightest talent. So are we, right? So some of those things have continued to be there. And as HR has evolved, I think it's important for HR professionals and HR teams to transition from more transactional to much more strategic transformational roles. And I think in my mind, two things that help. One is functional change and one is personal or individual professional change. At the functional level, HR functions can be very manual and encumbering, as you know. And so we need to leverage technology so that we can really automate some of those processes and free up the time and space of our employees, of our HR professionals to do some value-added activities. And at the personal level, I think there's an opportunity for a mindset shift from moving from a compliance orientation to a more consultative orientation. So HR professionals in the traditional world would be more heavily relying on risks and regulations. But in the new world, in the more consultative world, it's partnering, really with the business and investing in the success of the business. Not to say that we shouldn't be considering the risks, but more intelligently and taking smart risks and data-driven decisions so that we are really looking at how can we win as a business and as a company and for our employees. So moving from, I think the skills for the future for HR professionals would be, and especially if we want to be transformative HR functions, to be a trusted advisor for our employees and our business leaders, to be a connector of, between employees and our executives, and to be domain experts in the area, right? And HR professionals and HR over the last couple of decades have got a seat at the table. If we do all of these things and continue to do them better, that's the way we will get more strategic and we will really get a voice at the table as well.
That's a great answer. And I think to bring it then into you personally, right? If we kind of take a look at looking back on the past, let's say 12 or 18 months, have there been any accomplishments that you've personally felt or the team has felt that have had a really big impact on the company? Anything that you can share?
I would say, I would start with, going back to what I was saying, if you have to win in the marketplace, you have to win the hearts and minds of people. I would be remiss if I didn't say that first accomplishment and what I'm really proud of is our very talented HR team across the globe, without whom none of the accomplishments would be possible. It's a lean and mighty team. It's a team that collaborates well, it embraces change, and we are, right there front and center, invested in the success of the organization. So that's one. The second one that I think we are really, that I'm really proud of personally, and I know a lot of folks in the organization and HR team would be proud of, is our digital transformation journey. And we have been on this journey for the last couple of years now. This is a journey where I'm sure you've heard of People Hub, which is our human capital management platform. It touches, right now we have rolled it in 5 countries, 5 of our top countries, US, UK, Canada, Australia, and GBSC. It touches 82% of our workforce. And through this, it's not just a system of employee record, but it also allows employees to, at one click, access their personnel information, do timekeeping, absence management, performance and goals. So we have this whole suite of HR services that it offers. So these two, the team and our digital transformation has been a journey, but it's a force multiplier, and it creates that flying wheel effect for me, which means kind of slowly but surely we're moving, getting that incremental gains from the investment.
Well, that's a perfect segue. And I've got one more question for you. So it's a perfect segue into my last question, which is, with what is happening with AI and work, what does it mean for employees? All of this change and this transformation, what does this really mean for them?
What a great question, because as you know, there was such a hype around ChatGPT and AI, and even when we started the conversation, we had a couple of thoughts around that. And I think over the last year or so, sentiments have tempered a little bit, and people are still figuring it out, right? The jury is still out. Is this going to be a platform or a tool that's going to accelerate productivity, or is it going to destroy and dehumanize, workplace and workforce? And I think AI is revolutionary. It's going to be really transformative, and we really need to create an AI optimized workforce and a workplace. What does that mean? I think I look at it at three levels. The first one, or kind of the three benefits that I'm seeing instantly, and I'm sure this is it's going to stay here over the long haul, and there'll be more unraveling of the product or of AI. Of the tool, whatever we call it. But right now, first one is around job efficiency. So when we look at our jobs, all of our jobs have a collection of tasks, and there are some tasks that are fairly manual, as I was talking about, and how can we automate that so that we can work better and faster. So if I talk about the recruiting example that the People Hub recruiting that we are talking about, we are using some AI tools to do some candidate funneling and resume parsing that can help the recruiters then to focus on relationship building and focus on working with the hiring managers for strategy and innovation and recruitment. So that's the first piece. The second piece is around process mastery. So if task efficiency is about volume, how do we kind of reduce the volume? Process mastery is about complexity. How do we reduce complexity in our tasks? So a lot of us have processes which has multiple steps. So think about a process that has 30 steps. Half of those steps are complex, right? They require a lot of computational work, data mining, and all of that. If AI can do the heavy lifting around that, then it will simplify the job. And it'll create opportunity for many more people to jump in and start embracing that particular process. So I think it's also an opportunity for creating easier mastery over some of those complex computational processes, and also helping more people start to navigate some of those complex processes. And last is rewiring skills. I think the AI knowledgeware allows us to get a lot of knowledge on our fingertip. Like you said, we could ask ChatGPT and they would give a great answer. The skill lies in asking the right questions. So I think that's the skill, the human skill that we'll continue to build. And AI, just in terms of job efficiency or task efficiency, process mastery, I think we'll have to cross-sell, cross-skill and upskill and reskill ourselves, and the human skills like empathy and resilience and communication and collaboration will become really high in demand. So I think as long as AI can be leveraged appropriately to automate the routine tasks and amplify the human element of it, it's going to be here, and we'll all become big fans of it.
Yeah, there's a lot going on, and I think one thing I appreciate in this conversation, thank you for your time, is there's a lot of things that HR touches, right? I think there's this maybe a stereotypical view of what HR does, but it's so ingrained across the entire organization, and it's so future focused, and it's so connected, and it helps connect a lot of things in the organization. So I find that really fascinating. Nidhi, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for joining me today. Really appreciate it. Thank you to everybody who watched, and be sure to stay tuned for the next episode of Crawford Chat.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Yeah.
Do it in the beginning. I like it in the beginning, and I like it at the end.
Oh, we can clap at the end.
Yeah.
If we want to do we can all clap at the end. That'd be fun.
Perfect.
Okay.
And in the beginning.
So this is going to be the hardest part of this whole chat.
Okay.
Is my silly questions.
Okay.
What's something you'd never do, even for $1 million?
I wouldn't sing in public. I can be.
Sorry. If I said, Nidhi, here's $1 million, you just have to go sing in public. You wouldn't do it?
I'd make a fool of myself. A real fool of myself.
But you could just walk away with $1 million easy.
But yeah, maybe.
Okay, so what is the silliest fear you have?
Bungee jumping.
Why would that be silly? That scares me too. I don't think that's silly. That's a scary
Well,
thing
I
to
don't
do.
know. People do it all the time.
Well, people are crazy too. So.
Well, that's true.
If you could meet any historical figure, who would it be and why? Alive or dead?
And you said historical figure?
Yeah, so I guess that would mean dead, but. If you could only watch one genre of movie forever, what would it be?
Crime.
Crime.
I love it.
Detective
Detective
Nidhi.
sleuthing. When I think about it again, I wouldn't have said that answer, but it doesn't matter.
If you had a time machine, would you visit the past or the future?
I would visit the future.
The future.
Future is always bright.
Yeah, but it could be scary.
It could be scary, but
Yeah.
it's fun.
Yeah. If you did that, I would follow you around and see where you like invest your money.
That's right.
And like all the things, and then
That's
I'm like,
right.
yeah, I'm gonna do it.
That's
Nidhi
right.
knows something. What's the worst haircut you've ever had?
The one that I have right
Oh,
now.
stop. You're bringing me back into the serious answers.
Oh, there you go. Thank you. Great questions. by the
But
way,
listen,
Scott.
I didn't write them. I did, sort of. I used ChatGPT.